Hey, Seth David here with another spectacular screencast. And this time I'm doing another one for my fellow Patreon creators. A while back I did one on how to organize and manage your patrons in Microsoft Excel, and I showed you how to get what you see on your screen here. Patreon does a great job of giving you the ability to download your patron information into a CSV file, which can easily then be saved as an Excel file. In fact, you'll open up the CSV in Excel and go File, Save As, and then once you're in that location in the file types here, you'll choose Excel Workbook, right? So that part's easy. In the video, I showed you how to get from the original layout, the way you download it, to what's called a flat file, which is something like this, where it's just straight up rows and columns. Now I want to show you how to take it one step further. So first of all, I want to make one other little tweak to the data, which is here. So you see how I have my tiers, and it's really just a sort of text description. So I want to change that. I want to make this numeric. And since they put the amount and then the plus sign, watch how easy this is to actually change into just the raw numeric part of it. So I selected the whole column. I go to data here, and we're going to go to, there's a command called text to columns, and that's right here. When I click that, we're going to stick with delimited, because delimited means I can pick a particular element that tells Excel where to divide it up, and in this case we're going to use the plus sign. So over here I click Other, and I hit the plus sign, and you see down below in the preview how perfectly it then divides this stuff up. Now there's one other thing, so if you're doing this, which you should be, while you're following along, don't go ahead of me just yet. When we go next, we want to select this second column and choose Do Not Import. I don't need that information, and otherwise it's going to override what's to my right with that. So we're going to select that column, Do Not Import, and then choose Finish. And now I just have numbers, and then I want to just format them for numbers to make sure that they'll be recognized as such by Excel. Now we're going to be able to produce some really cool reporting and summary information based on what you're seeing here. So I'm going to come over here and go to Insert. Probably not a bad idea to save at this point, just to make sure we don't lose those changes. Okay, and then Insert Pivot Table. Now don't be scared of the pivot table. It's not as complex as you think. It's basically a way of creating a report based on the data. So over here we have all the columns from that tab, right? And then we're going to decide what goes in the row, what goes in the column, and what value we want to look at. So the value is going to be the pledge, right? How much people have pledged to me. Let's drag that down in here. So when I just have that and no other, sort of defining criteria for how I want to lay out the information, notice it just gives me the total pledge amount here. This is the aggregate of all my pledges, which by itself is interesting, but I could have done that in a total on the previous tab. So nothing earth-shattering there. Now I want to see, though, based on the tier. So here's the tier, and remember that's what we just broke out by making it into just numbers. So let's drag that and make that the rows. So now I can see how much is pledged at each tier. So I have $15 at $5 a month. I have $350 based on $25 a month. I have $50 based on $50, so that's one pledge at $50, and then I have $100 based on $100. So I have one pledge at $100 basically. Now, all right, so let's go further. So now I want to see who's in at each of these levels, right? So now I can take the name, let's say, and just drag that in below the tier. So now it shows me who's in at each of these levels, right? So that's kind of cool. So now I actually can see exactly who's in at the $5, at the $25, and so on, right? And now watch this trick. Let's say, especially since I don't have that many tiers, I can move the tier into the columns. So let's do that. Let's come down here. We'll click and drag over into the columns. Now look at that. Now I have a really easy to follow report that shows me each tier, 5, 25, 50, and 100, and who's in, and I can clearly see at what level, and then I can get the subtotals at the bottom. So this is just a beginning. As always, I encourage you to comment on this, ask questions. If you have any ideas or suggestions for what you would want to see created in a report like this, by all means let me know by commenting, and I'll do a follow-up video based on your comments and requests in an effort to show you whatever you want to learn how to do in terms of reporting on this kind of information. That is all, my friends. As always, I hope you had some fun here and learned something along the way. I hope you're having an absolutely fantastic day, and I look forward to seeing you on the web.